I'm 101 years old, and people always ask me the same question. What do you regret most? After living through an entire century, witnessing war, famine, and countless losses, you'd think I'd have many regrets. But surprisingly, I only regret one thing. And I guarantee it's not what you're thinking right now. Before we continue this story, write in the comments where you're watching us from. And hit like if you want to know what's most unexpected in this tale. You probably think I regret not making more money, right? Well, let me tell you something about wealth. I've been both poor and comfortable in my lifetime. Money came and went like seasons. When I was young, I worried constantly about having enough. Would we afford food? Could we pay rent? Then later, when business was good, I had more than I needed. But did it change how I felt inside? Not really. Money solved some problems, but created others. More to worry about losing. More to manage. Maybe you think I regret my career choices. Not pursuing that big opportunity that came my way in 1963. I was offered a partnership in a company that later became quite successful. I turned it down. My wife was pregnant with our second child. The job meant traveling constantly, missing family time. Did I make the right choice? My friends who took similar paths made more money, sure. But they also missed their children's first words, first steps, school plays, bedtime stories. I was there for all of it. Every scraped knee, every nightmare, every small triumph. So no, I don't regret choosing family over fortune. That wasn't a mistake at all. Perhaps you think I regret not taking better care of my health. All those cigarettes in the 50s? Or maybe not exercising enough. Eating too much of my wife's incredible apple pie. Look, I wasn't perfect with my body. I smoked for 20 years before quitting cold turkey. I loved beer and barbecue, probably more than I should have. Never was much for jogging or gyms. But I worked with my hands building houses. That kept me strong. I walked everywhere in those days. Sure, I've had my share of health problems. Heart surgery at 78, diabetes, arthritis now. But I recovered. I adapted. I kept going. That's what bodies do. They fight to survive. Health comes and goes regardless of how careful you are. I've outlived health fanatics and marathon runners. Genetics, luck, attitude. Who knows what really matters? I'm still here, still thinking clearly. Maybe you're thinking about travel. All the places I never saw, experiences I missed. I never made it to Paris like my wife always dreamed. Never saw the Egyptian pyramids or Japanese cherry blossoms. We planned trips that never happened. Too expensive, kids needed things, work was busy, health issues came up. But let me tell you about the travels I did have. Every Sunday drive to the lake with my children, camping trips in our old tent, teaching the kids to fish, roasting marshmallows under the stars. The wonder in my grandson's eyes when he saw the ocean for the first time at age 6. Those moments were worth more than any exotic destination. They were real, they were ours, they were perfect. So what is it then? What's the one thing I regret after 101 years on this earth? I regret the anger. Every single moment I wasted being angry at people I loved. Anger seemed so righteous at the time. I was right. They were wrong. Case closed. But here's the thing about being right. What did I actually win? A person who now resented me? I remember fighting with my brother over our father's tools when he died in 1955. Such stupid, meaningless stuff. A hammer, some wrenches, things you could buy for $20. But it wasn't about the tools, was it? It was about respect, fairness, who Dad loved more. We didn't speak for 3 years. 3 entire years of family gatherings with awkward silence. Our mother crying because her boys wouldn't talk. Our children asking why Uncle Tommy never visits. Finally, his wife got sick, and I swallowed my pride, went to the hospital to see them. We hugged and cried and felt like complete fools. 3 years wasted over rusty old tools. But the damage was done. Those 3 years were gone forever. Birthdays, holidays, memories we could have made. Even worse was what I said to my beautiful wife during a fight in 1962. She had invited her mother to stay with us without asking me first. I was furious about the presumption. I told her she cared more about her family than mine, that she was selfish and inconsiderate. The look in her eyes that moment, like I had physically struck her. Disbelief, pain, disappointment. She forgave me the next day, as she always did. But I never forgot that look. Even now, 40 years after she's gone, I can still see her face in that kitchen. The worst part? Her mother was dying. She only lived 6 more months after that visit. My wife needed support during the most difficult time of her life, and I made it about me. Anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But you're the one who suffers. It eats you from the inside, destroys your peace, steals your joy, ruins your relationships. I learned this lesson too late, but maybe you don't have to. Maybe you can choose differently. When I turned 70, I made myself a rule. Never go to bed angry or hurt. Any argument, any conflict, any bad feeling had to be resolved before sleep, or let go completely. I started saying I'm sorry first, not because I was always wrong, but because relationships mattered more. I stopped needing to prove I was right. Even when I was right, what did it gain me? A bitter victory where someone I love now feels defeated? That's not winning. That's losing everything important. The last 30 years of my life have been the most peaceful because I chose love over anger. My great-grandchildren run to me with scraped knees and broken toys because they know I'm safe. They don't fear my reaction. They don't walk on eggshells. They just love me completely and trust me fully. That's the legacy I want. Not fear, not anger, not being right, but being loved and loving back. I'm 101 years old, and I don't know the secret to longevity. Could be genes, luck, or stubbornness, but I know this with absolute certainty. Every year spent in anger is a year not spent in love. You still have time to choose differently. Don't waste it on being right, being angry, being bitter. Nothing is worth poisoning your own heart. Nothing is worth losing the people who matter most to you. Choose love. Choose forgiveness. Choose peace. Choose wisely. You don't get these moments back.